the way she's sitting on the couch because she has her like feet on like she's like sitting froggy style like on the, on the couch.
Yeah. Sticking their ass out. And
yeah,
shit.
get your fucking feet down.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Laugh and Death podcast. I am your host for this episode. I'm Dave.
What's up? I'm Alex.
And I'm Fern.
We are a conversational podcast based out of the Rio Grande Valley. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, follow us over at youtube.com/laughanddeath and at our Instagram at laughanddeathpodcast. We're going to try and be a little bit more regular going forward. I know we'll probably be every 2 weeks or so. That's the plan. Yeah. And then everything should line up with our 1 year 1 year anniversary podcast. I think we've done like almost 40 podcasts.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, we stopped remembering them, so.
With the fucking Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was weekly, right?
That was almost, it was like too many episodes. But yeah, we're definitely around the 40 mark, and it'd be cool to hit once we hit like the 52. But yeah, we're almost a year in, and I know we talked a little bit about it last time, but
learned a lot.
Dude, we still fucking suck.
Dude, yeah, we suck ass.
We use less, but
last episode I edited the video and the title card I put Laughing Dead Poocast.
Oh yeah, I saw Robert call you out on that shit.
Easter egg, motherfucker. Check that out.
And I was like, I was on purpose. I mean, this podcast is shit. It's cool.
The Poocast.
The Poocast.
Fuck. Nah, but we definitely are learning some shit, which is cool. Like, I've never been a part of something like this, like just speaking about topics and stuff. So it's cool for me. Like, I've never done anything like this. Like, I've been in front of mics, so it's easy for me to talk and shit, but to everybody have something to bring to the table and then like kind of converse about it, it's fun in any sort or format, whatever. It's fun as fuck. I enjoy doing it, especially with you guys.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
So speaking of loving it, I didn't love this past week or whatever because of what happened specifically to me. But in case you don't know about the flooding here in the RGV, the Rio Grande Valley, it was pretty bad. It was fucking crazy,
dude. It was only a week later from the year before because of the flooding year prior.
That's right.
It was bad last year.
Something came out yesterday about it that it was like a rare phenomenon thing that happened. Did you see that? Like two storms converged.
Yeah.
From one coming from like the Gulf Coast, and then one coming from like Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And these two storms converged and they crashed and made like a stronger storm. Like
fucking illegal immigrants, dog.
Shit. Those illegal aliens. It was weird, man. It was cool to see that, but like. The night of, I remember, my homie Eddie Skunks came back. Shout out to Eddie Skunks. He just came back from Germany after visiting for like a year and a half. So he's back down in the valley or whatever, and we've been hanging out and shit, right? And I'm all blaming him over here, like, man, this motherfucker's making me drink and shit. But it's literally just me, like, hey, man, like, I'm the one buying all the beer, and he's just like, I'll drink if you drink. He's just there, like, I'm just like, fuck. It's totally me enabling the whole thing. But this specific night, we went out to go get like beer from HEB, and we got a 12-pack and shit of Modelo. I don't know if you saw my story. It was Modelo time, fool. And it was pouring fucking rain, and they were predicting 20% precipitation like in the morning. Like it wasn't going to be that bad. They didn't even know. And then it starts pouring rain, and like we get to his apartment and shit, and it just nonstop rain, right? And we're like, fuck, and we're just kind of keep drinking, like, it's just rain, you know, nothing bad is gonna happen. And I'm already kind of drunk, and I get the first flash flood warning. I'm like, it won't be this area, right? So we keep drinking. We start watching Planet Earth 2 on Netflix.
It's good, right?
It's really good. Yeah,
it's beautiful in 4K.
We were watching it on a fucking screen on like you've seen The Office, right? Michael Scott when he has his little flat screen,
the plasma.
I swear it's like something like that, tiny as fuck, and it's four of us just watching. Like the screen has to be like 10 feet away from us, dude, across the room, like, and we're all just watching on this tiny little fucking screen, like really interested in the fucking show. And it's all dark in the room and all these vibes and shit. Like we're just chilling, drinking, all of us, me, him, his roommate, and his roommate's friend, who's funny enough, his name was also Alex. So we were just both, oh, what's up, Alex? Oh, Alex. Like, just stupid, right? We didn't plan any of it. It just kind of went through. And then we get the second flash flood warning, and I'm already kind of like, I'm fucked up. You know what I mean? I'm just like, fuck. And he had picked me up originally during the day, and I was like, dude, you still have to drop me off. And he's like, fuck it, I'll go drop you off. And like, takes me to my house, and he's like, we still have the other beer. You still want to keep drinking? And I'm like, fuck, it's kind of raining. Like, there's kind of already flooding in the area. I'm like, fuck it. And I go back to his apartment, dude, in my van. Like, he drops me off. We go back together. And we continue drinking. And, like, it's still dark in there. All the homies went to get more beer. Them, too. We're like, let's keep drinking. So we keep drinking and shit. And we get a third flash flood warning, dude. I shit you not. 3 flash flood warnings. And I'm just like, okay, this has got to be serious. So we're sitting down watching Planet Earth 2. We hear, like, a noise towards the back of the apartment by the kitchen. And my friend's roommate, Eddie's roommate, he goes to check the sound, and he's like, "Oh, what was that?" And he goes outside. He's like, whatever. And then he looks outside through the back. He's like, "Dude, it's fucking flooded in the back." And I'm like, "Shit." I parked in the front, and I'm like, I'm interested. I'm like, I want to see how bad the flooding is. And I walk up. It's all dark. Literally take like 4 steps, 3 feet in front of me, dude. And I fucking step in a splash, like a puddle of water, and just slip and fall on my ass, dude. Hit my head on the tile, boom. But I'm still holding my fucking Modelo. I was like.
Saved it.
And then they start laughing. I'm like, dude, it's fucking flooded in here. And they turn on the lights, a bunch of water all up in the apartment. And we're like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, just like, we were just, and we continued to drink. And we still continue to drink. We're like, fuck. And we're looking out. The water's like going up to my door, my van and shit. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking stuck here. Like, I'm not going to walk through that shit. Like, and what if I open the door in my car and like water gets in, you know? Which I think water got in because it smells like mildewy in my fucking van.
Yeah,
like the carpet smells. Yeah.
I saw your snap too, where you're like sitting down and then you're drinking and your buddy's just walking through the water.
Through the water. Yeah. He picks up a towel that he tried to put like at the door so water wouldn't get in. He just like
strains it in the house.
I'm like, what
God damn it,
bro. And so the water's coming in, and like just to wrap it up, the water comes in from the front of the apartment, and we're moving the carpets and shit. We get to the kitchen, and we're just chilling in there. And we're like, fuck, what do we do? And the roommate's like, well, I'm going upstairs. I'm going to sleep. He's like, because it's a townhome. He's like, y'all need to get a couch. Like, just grab a couch and fucking crash out. And I'm like, fuck, right? And Eddie's in the corner fucking making rice, like heating up rice and shit. Like, he's fucking wanting to munch out and shit. And I'm just like, fuck, dude, I'm hungry. I'm fucking here, drunk. And then we start waiting a little bit. Roommate goes upstairs, and water starts coming in from the back too, dude. So we're just getting pinned, and we're like, fuck. Man, fuck it. We just walk through the water and get on the couch. And like, I remember crashing out, like holding my phone tight so it wouldn't fall or whatever. And I wake up I fell asleep like at 12, woke up like at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And I look down, my water's completely submerged on the floor, dude.
Your phone?
My phone. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, I was holding it tight so it wouldn't fall. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. And I wake up, I look down, my phone is completely underwater, dude, my phone. I'm like, fuck, I get it. Luckily, it's an S9, and it's like water resistant.
Yeah.
And it says, please dry phone. There's like moisture in the USB area. And I was like, fuck. And I was just there like, dude, I need to take off. And I look out, the water's still literally at the same level in my van. I'm like, fuck. And I had to work the next day. And I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, I'm just going to take off. I went through the back, and I literally walked through like the water was at calf height outside in the street, like to get to my van. It's like, fuck it. And I just walked through there, and I'm just all wet, and I fucking take off.
So from the time when you got dropped off at your house and you drove back in your van, it went from like the ground to calf height?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was fucked up, man. And then when I woke up, it was still raining. Like, it wasn't raining as much, like as strong, but there was still rain coming down. I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. It was really bad.
That fucking sucks.
It did suck.
I had seen a lot of people like post that like their area had been flooded and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I looked out and it didn't look too bad. And like the one thing that worries me is that I live on a golf course, and right behind my house there's like a giant hill, and then there's like not a canal, but there's like just an area where water can collect.
Oh, okay.
And so in the event that it were to ever like fill up to the brim and it had nowhere else to go, it would just like rush into my house, because my house is like kind of like on a decline.
Yeah.
And yeah, I worry about that shit all the time. But like, yeah, lucky we didn't experience anything. And then as soon as I got on the expressway to go to work to go host that meeting, it was like clear the entire way. And I noticed there was a bunch of cars like stranded, like especially at the tops of the expressway and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, there was like cop cars at like every exit, but they weren't telling anybody not to go down there. And then every exit was flooded.
Yeah, everything. Exit. Yeah.
There was stranded cars everywhere.
Normally, it'll be specific exits where water collects a lot, but I remember the next morning, it was literally every exit.
Yeah,
was fucking flooded.
To get to work, I had to go like 4 exits down, like just because I couldn't get off, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I had to go from Edinburgh. I took the expressway all the way into Mercedes, and the exit to get in to get to the outlet or where we work was not blocked off, but there was a bunch of stranded cars. So I was like, "Fuck that!" So I kept going, and I went into Harlingen, like the outskirts of Harlingen. So I passed Bass, and then right when that car dealership's at, with that Nissan dealership, I did a U-turn, and I got on, and every exit was closed except for the one that takes you straight to work. And I'm like, "God damn it!" Like I was like praying that it was gonna be like a rainy day that we couldn't go.
And then more pictures start surfacing of like the stuff that was happening and stuff all over the valley.
Oh yeah, dude, it was really bad. Yeah. My brother-in-law works for a delivery company, and like his whole parking lot was full. He didn't want to move his truck because it's like lifted and all that stuff. He was like, I'm not gonna risk my car, so they ended up dropping him off in a delivery truck, like a big old 18.
Would you say it was worse last year or this year?
I wasn't here last year, so I didn't really get to see anything. Because I saw that picture that was circulating that it was like a picture from like 8 years prior.
Yeah, that's from Hurricane Dolly or something.
Something like that, yeah. So I don't know. To me, it wasn't that big a deal because all the areas that I need to be weren't bad.
Yeah, maybe too. Yeah.
But like I remember last year, like downtown Wesco was fucked. Yeah. Everything, all the restaurants, everything was fucked in that one intersection on Texas. It was bad.
What's weird is it's just rain. Like it wasn't even like a hurricane. It was just rain. Like
yeah.
Well, my dad sent me a video this morning of a house in Monte Alto, and it was like. The lady was like recording, and the rain is going sideways. I think they had a tornado
recording outside of the house, right?
Yeah.
I did see that. Was that from this?
Salina? Yeah, it was from 2 days ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, that looked insane.
Dude, the rain was going sideways, and you just see all this wood like flying by. I'm like, holy shit! And then like they show a video of the aftermath, and they're inside the house. Did you see those?
No, I didn't.
If you click on that girl's profile, you can see like her story.
Yeah.
And she's like, they're inside the house, and it's just like, whoosh, whoosh, and I'm like, oh, that fucking sucks.
Outside my house, I have two streetlights like on either side of the street. And then one, you look at it and it looks like the rain is coming this way, and then the other one, it looks like the rain is coming the other way. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like the optical illusion because of the light, like the way it's hitting it or whatever. But it just looked like it was coming at two different angles. I think it's the same thing of like the whole two storms coming together.
Maybe, right?
I mean, that's super weird if it is, but just the way it looked, I was like, does it look like that? And I saw my sister. She's like, yeah, it does look like it's coming at two different angles. Like, it's so weird. And talking about the cars left on the expressway, my uncle had to sleep on top of the highway.
In his car?
In his car, yeah. He pulled over. I guess a lot of people pulled over, because he was on his way back from mission from his work, and he's like he couldn't get off. He couldn't see anything, and it was like he was like, I might just stay here, and he slept. He spent the night on the highway.
He should have called somebody.
I mean,
too dangerous.
Yeah,
maybe?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of the power was out too. I mean, Wesco power was out for a while.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't experience anything.
And I don't know where he was because I know Mercedes Donna and Wesco got a bunch of rain.
I know one of our coworkers was telling me that their power went out once and then it didn't come back until like around 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. the following day.
Oh, damn.
And then it was on for like 15 minutes and then turned back off. So I was like, shit, man, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, before we got to Eddie's apartment, it was already pouring rain. We're literally driving into his parking lot, and all the power goes out, like the street lights, like the apartments, everything, and it just got completely dark. And we're like, did the power just go out? Like, oh shit! And he was like, maybe we shouldn't drink. I was like, dude, we should never drink. So we started drinking.
Drinking in the dark? Come on, man. That's romantic as shit.
Watching Planet Earth 2, Netflix and chill, bro.
And then the power went out. So how did y'all do?
Well, no, they came back on. Before we even got back in, it came back on. And I had asked his roommate, did the power just go out? He's like, yeah. And then he just starts drinking. Both start drinking. Fuck.
That's fucking insane. Dude.
Yeah, my power went out like around 10. Didn't come back to like 5 in the morning, and I was waking up, just tossing and turning, sweating my ass off. And then as soon as the power comes on, our AC just turns on, and it starts like smelling like something's burning. And I was like, son of a bitch. So something fucked up, and then turned it off, and just had the fans going. I felt a lot better. And one of my buddies, I saw his Snapchat. He's like, oh, I don't work tomorrow, so why not? He had a modelo in his hand. He was grilling or something, and then like. And then the next day, he's like, when everybody calls out, like, you're the one that has to go to work, and he's like super hungover.
Fuck.
and then this later on that day, I think it was like 7 at night. He comes like, he's like in Snapchat, like, what the fuck is going on? He's like at his house, like everything's dark, like there's no fucking power still. What the fuck,
Dude? He was always like, trying to be like good about it. Oh, dude, everything just fucked him. Fuck.
Yeah, he's like, I have the day off tomorrow, so let's fucking grill. It starts raining.
Yeah.
And then
nobody can make it to work. You're the one that's off. You gotta come to work.
Steve was showing me a video of a family that was affected last year during this whole like flooding thing. They lost everything, dude. Like they had to model the whole like floor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It happened to them again after they had made adjustments and stuff like that. They had cleared all the ditches and stuff, and they still got flooded in, and there was still water in their house. It fucking sucks,
Dude.
yeah, one of my friends, she lives in San Antonio now, and her parents, they live by my neighborhood. They're like a couple blocks down, and they got flooded. And I'm lucky my neighborhood doesn't flood, but theirs does for some reason. I guess it's because it's lower. And she was saying like on Twitter, like she's so pissed off because like they had barely like just taking care of it. Like we did the drywall and all this other shit, and now again almost a year later.
Yeah, I'm lucky my area it hardly ever gets flooded where I stay with my parents. So when I got home, I was just worried about my dog because he's an outside dog. He stays outside. And I'm like, fuck, and it's like 5 a.m, and I turn on the light from the backyard, and I look, and he's crashed the fuck out, like, on his back, like, just lavish, dude, like, fuck, yes, water, like, because he's a fucking husky, and he's, I mean, the fur is good to insulate during heat and cold, but he loves the fucking water, so he'll just stand in the rain, bro. I was like, he liked that shit. He was like, fuck yeah, break from this fucking heat.
Yeah, I have a Chihuahua, so she was like a nervous wreck during everything.
Yeah.
Like, she had to be, like, in my armpit the entire fucking time.
The lightning was hitting, dude. Hard.
Big up like
Yeah. Like those beers later.
Ooh, I can't wait, dude. Frankie said he's down, so
Dope.
can't wait to see that kid. So, I was in California recently, and for work, it was cool. It was okay. I hate traveling. That's my one big thing. Like, unless it's something I want to do.
Oh yeah.
I hate traveling.
Yeah, true.
Like,
Yeah.
I hate sitting at the airport because to me, like, planes aren't where they need to be in 2019. Like, give me an extra inch of elbow room. I want an extra inch of knee space. I'm a tall guy. Like, I want a little bit of just more freedom, and I ain't gonna pay first class.
So would you say my word is right? It's like a bus in the sky.
It is a bus in the sky.
Did you see that design that they were trying to make a couple years ago, where it's like sitting. You don't sit. You just lean on the seat, and like you just have like a strap to hold you up, and you're like this, like kind of like those Superman roller coasters, like at Six Flags.
Okay.
Where you're just kind of like sitting on not sitting on thing, but just leaning on it.
Like laying back at like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Why?
To make more space.
Jesus.
So everybody's like this.
People need to stop having kids.
Oh, and then there was a shithead kid that sat right behind me that was crying the entire fucking time. Dude, like, and it was a weird cry because it was just making noise to make noise. It was just like,
And looking around to see who notices.
Yeah.
like, have you ever like put your hands over your ears and like yelled like really loud and you can hear everything inside your head?
Oh yeah.
That it was kind of like, I guess when you're the air pressure and stuff like that. I don't know. It was fucking shithead kids. You shouldn't fly with kids. But yeah, it was an okay trip. I got to go see the Dodgers game. I went to a Dodger game. I got to see some actor. I think his name is Donald Loge. I'll put his picture right here.
Bam.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But the best part to me was meeting my. We got a free like credit to go lift around for a while, and so I got to meet some lady who was like our Lyft driver, and she was like, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "Is this your daytime job?" She's like, "Yeah." Well, no, it's not. Like, this is what I do just for money, but I am a stand-up comic. And I'm like, "Oh, it's badass." Her name was Jacqueline. She's an Asian chick, and she was really funny, dude. Like, just one-liners left and right, and like, I don't know, man. It was just like surreal to be like there. And she's like, "Oh yeah," and I've seen Chappelle. I've seen. She's like, I've gone on after Kevin Hart, and that fucking sucked.
Shit, yeah.
She's like, because everybody's there for Kevin Hart, and then it's like, it's like the wins out of their sales, and then I went on, and she's like, it just fucking killed. And I'm like, that fucking sucks. And so, yeah, she's like, and I've been there with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and all. She's like, Chris D'Elia's a good friend of hers. And she's like, yeah, he's like one of my mentors or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I just felt like everybody in the city's like trying to do something.
Right? Yeah. Like everybody's got their thing of they're working towards something. Yeah. That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah. And I was like, man, like that's, I don't know. I kind of thought like it was cool like to see somebody coming up and like I was like, well, it was nice to meet you. Like
I do a podcast.
You could, yeah. I was like, yeah. I kind of mentioned that too.
Oh,
we do a podcast. She was like, oh, didn't ask me, so
everybody does.
Didn't care.
Yeah. In this day and age, who the fuck doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. and I was like, I actually thought about doing stand-up comic. I'm like comedy like for a stint, and that went absolutely nowhere because that's spoilers for the pilot. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I thought it was really cool to see that happen, and yeah, maybe she might be famous one day, and then I get to say like, oh yeah, that was my Lyft driver,
right? Yeah,
and I can't wait to tweet at her when that happens. I'll be like,
remember you drove me around?
Yeah.
On money that I didn't even. This money was given to me. It's basically a free Lyft for
Dude,
me.
seriously, I paid 89 cents.
Holy shit!
It was a $20 Lyft ride. They gave us a $20 credit. I paid 89 cents for that.
That was
ride.
a tip.
I gave her a $2 tip. I'm sorry.
That's cool, but that shit's inspiring. Like seeing people fucking wanted, doing what they're doing and like.
Yeah, she says she's there 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm like, that's cool. Like she has a 15-minute set, and yeah.
And like her driving the Lyft isn't just like it's her income, yeah, but it's also giving her like those stories, like
yeah.
If they have something interesting happen, I don't know.
That's like material.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, life has to be material. All the shit that happens to you, or
of course I don't know her, so I don't know her like writing methods or whatever. But I feel like that would be something I would do. Like I would use that as a way to get material or like just talk about certain things.
Because I listen to, obviously this is a Joe Rogan podcast, and he talks about like writing material, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm working on a new hour, and it takes him a year and a half to write an hour. I'm like, fuck, like to get it down and like start like putting time into it. And I'm like, so how long does it take you? She's like, I'll do 3-minute sets at the Laugh Factory, and then I'll do like 15-minute sets at the Comedy Store. I'm like, well, how long does it take you to write 3 minutes? She's like a day. And I was like, oh shit, like
everybody's got to be different, right?
And she was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought it was something that you marinated on for a month or whatever, and you just kept like perfecting it. She's like, you never perfect your set like ever. She's like, but it takes me like a day to write 3 minutes. And I'm like, okay.
Unless I guess you got like a tour thing, like if like just for example like Chris D'Elia and the Follow the Leader tour, he's still touring, and it's been like close to a year of him touring. And it's kind of the same material, and he just like keeps it specifically for these tours because you can only see this material if you pay to go see him. He doesn't have it on any other outlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess it's depending on what you're doing. If you're just like a quick 15-minute set, like right, you have to write for that type of thing, and depending on how your delivery is, because there's a lot of people that have a really like mixed, convoluted message, and then to get to the punchline, it's fucking weird. Everybody has their own style.
Yeah. What kind of style do you think you would have? Just like a long story to get to the punchline? Because I feel like mine would be like one-liners.
I would want to make like because I've always liked Chappelle and how Bill Burr like have their punchlines. Like they'll have jokes with like 3 jokes within one entire joke, and then bring it all back like in the future of their set. Like it's just fucking. I would like to have a long crazy story for like jokes and shit. I like one-liners like Mitch Hedberg and shit and people like that. One-liners are cool, but I don't think that would be me.
I would like to have a mix, like a hybrid, where it's like, oh, here's my one-liner from the beginning of the thing. Here's a long-ass fucking story that refers back to my one-liner, and that is like,
yeah.
I think that's like the best fucking type of comedy. But like, I don't know. I think there should be like a more variation of comedy. I don't know. It's just me. Like, I know that right now everything's so PC and it's 2019. Like, you want to live in like, you want to be diverse, but then you want to be PC, and it doesn't work. But
I see a lot of people saying like, oh, you can't make jokes now because it's so PC, blah, 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 or like certain jokes, and it's like, yeah, because certain jokes aren't funny anymore. It's not a PC thing. It's just like, oh yeah, you're saying this, like, oh, and then I raped the bitch. I was like, yeah, that's not funny anymore. Or like, like, yeah, like those sort of kind of jokes, like I mean, not a lot of people do those jokes anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Joe Coy has a rape bit that's fucking hilarious that Barbara showed me. Like, he's like, when you, I don't want to butcher it, but it's something along the lines where he's like, roofing people is super illegal. He's like, so the way I like to pick up chicks is like, I make them think that they get roofied. So like, they'll take a quick like drink and I'll be like, what's wrong? And she's like, what? He's like, are you okay? Like, he changes his tone of voice, and he's like, that's so funny. Like, he starts acting weird, and then like, yeah,
that's
he's like, he's like, you're pretty hot. Like,
that's fucked up. That's
funny though. He's like, and then you have sex with her. And he's like, and it's not illegal. I was like, that's fucked up.
I like seeing these conversations of like, I don't know if you ever seen certain things on YouTube of like comedians sitting with each other and them talking about like what's gonna be funny or what can't be funny, or this whole thing of like, oh, that's fucked up, you know. And I think one of them says it's like Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld, and Louis C.K. when he was still able to be in fucking those circles. And they're talking about like, you like nobody can decide what is funny. Like, you know what I mean? It's all perspective. And like, if it might be offensive to somebody, but if somebody finds some type of laugh in it, funniness, like that's all that matters. At the end of the day, it is a fucking joke.
You know who I fucking love? Anthony Jeselnik. He's so fucking dark, and I love that type of comedy where he'll talk about like mass shootings and stuff like that. And I think it's the funniest fucking thing because he always finds like
a way to like say it
exactly. And it's, I don't know, like I think there was like a bus crash and like kids died or something like that like a couple years ago, and he like tweeted about it and he got all this hate, and then like everybody was like, wait, you can't be mad at it because it's comedy. And I don't know, I don't know if it needs boundaries, but I think it's pretty cool. I'm a little bummed that we're not going to go to RTX this year. I really wanted to go because they're going to have a stand-up night. And
like open mic?
They're going to have an open
like people who...
well, basically their personalities for the company.
Oh, okay.
For, I think, Rooster Teeth, Kind of Funny. All the guys from Kind of Funny are going to perform. All the Rooster Teeth, like the big wigs, are going to be doing it. And I know some of the
Funhouse
people are going to be there too. And I'm like, fuck, like I want to go to this.
When is it?
It's next weekend on the 6th.
Shit.
Yeah, July 6th. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, could go out there and tear it up, but I don't know. Yeah, kind of bummed that we're going to miss RTX. But because like everybody from Kind of Funny is going to be here, and that's like the first time they're going to do like a full team meet and greet. There's like 8 of them now. Like even the minor ones, like Barrett, who used to work for the company we work for. And then there's like Cool Greg and Kevin, who those are like the little ones are my favorite, and the big ones are like, feel like I get starstruck when I see them, or I talk about them, or I tweet at them and they respond or whatever. The other ones I feel like you can have like a genuine like conversation relationship with because they're not as big as like the main ones, but it's pretty cool. But as far as like their stand up, it was cool because they posted it on their social media, and I would love to go see that. But you know what I think? Well, I think everything like comedy needs like a way to be competitive. I hate that. I want to know who the best comic in the world is, and so like I think there should be like, I don't know, like a bracket system, or maybe like a last comic standing thing, because there is stuff like that, and they're like there's winners, but I want to put the very best comics in the world.
So in the like a global tournament, kind of like the Olympics.
Oh, nice.
That would be judged by like what, the audience, how fucking much they laugh.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, like, it would need to be general comedy. It can't be like regional comedy where it's like Asian people can't be like, oh, Asian stuff is so funny, right? And then the Asian people vote. It needs to be like just make fun of Trump.
Universal thing. And they could have like laugh-o-meters, like it's just like it measures the crowd noise, like
right, the audio, true.
Yeah. And they could be like converted, like Mexico would be like ja 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 ja, and then like Chinese can be like xi hee hee hee.
Yeah, peace signs.
Yeah, I know we have the Olympics in 2020 in Tokyo, I think so.
Tokyo.
That would be a little too late for that, but for next year's Olympics,
it's Summer Olympics already.
Yeah,
Jesus. Okay.
Not next year's, the next Olympics after this one was in 2024. They're thinking about making breakdancing. Well, I think they approved breakdancing to be an official Olympic sport.
Hell yeah!
So I still have 4 years to train. So,
dude, breakdancing is fucking like insane. How athletic you really do have to be to fucking do that shit.
You gotta get that b-boy body.
Yeah.
And they're all like what 5'4".
But what I'm wondering is like, how is it going to be scored? Like, is it going to be like a subjective thing, like, or you have to, like a technical thing where you're like, well, he didn't just spin like 360 degrees. He only spun 348. So
probably a mix of both, and see who like, because and depending if it's cruise or b-boy versus b-boy. Yeah. Because I know there's a bunch of shit with cruise and stuff, but like maybe a thing like the audience, gauging it through the audience, like who fucking gets louder for the team or shit.
Yeah. And imagine the uniforms, like, you know, they have like badass uniforms for like other sports. So I wonder if like it's gonna be like just a fucking American flag like cape or something, and and fucking Japan's gonna have just like, I don't know,
joggers.
Like, do you all know Germany's gonna have Adidas tracksuits.
Yeah.
Do you know what the rules are? Like, if you were born in America but you're from like German descent, can you play for the German team?
I think you have to have some type
dual
of
citizenship.
Yeah, citizenship.
Okay, because I know that like Mono Ginobili would play like for Spain in the Olympics, like during basketball, right? Is he from Spain?
Argentina?
Argentina, yeah. And like,
did he have citizenship from there or something?
I think he was born there.
He was born in Argentina.
Oh,
he plays in the U.S., but the national team he plays with.
That's
for the Olympic team, he could play on like the U.S. team also.
Oh shit.
So I thought, I don't know. I just thought like, because you never know like how they would rank things, especially with like being from different countries. So I was thinking like Jabberwockies are from America, but what if they wanted to compete for the Philippines and like get the Philippines like a gold medal or something?
You said the b-boy is for 2024.
2024. I don't want to say it's b-boy. I think just breakdancing, but I think that's gonna be, well, it's kind of like MMA. Like, it's kind of like different types of dances. So I wonder what the meta is gonna be.
True. I was looking into like skateboarding being it's going to be part of the 2020 Summer Olympics in Japan, and it says here on Wiki, not to trust Wiki, but it is one of 5 sports added specifically for 2020 with no guarantee it will return to the program in later years. But I know in the skateboarding world, like, you know, in every fucking genre of whatever the fuck, there's a mainstream part of the industry and then like an underground like skate scene or whatever it might be.
The X Games and then the under X Games.
Well, they're saying like, some people are like, yeah, let's like represent skateboarding, and everybody's like, it's not a sport, it's an art form and all this shit. Like, which is cool, I understand that, but this is taking something that somebody loves to a whole completely new level. You know what I mean? Yeah. And skateboarding is definitely global, but to see it go into the Olympics is fucking crazy.
It legitimizes skateboarding.
Yeah,
definitely. They should all be stoked for it.
Definitely. Especially when it means like having more sponsorships and money opportunity.
As long as fucking Rob Deerdeck has nothing to do with it.
As long as his hands have something to do with it.
Have you with the funky ass hands?
Speaking of skateboarders, have you seen like Tony Hawk's Twitter account? Mm-mm. He's always sharing stories of like, he's like went to the drive-thru yesterday, and the lady at the window was like, "Hey, are you Tony Hawk?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Do you mind if I tell the people like working here?" And she's like, "Okay." And she's like, "Hey guys, we have Tony Hawk at the window." And then I heard a faint, "Who's that?" in the background. And I was like, "Okay."
He said he went to TSA and the guy read his ID and just read his last name. He's like, "Hawk." He's like the skateboarder? He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I wonder what he's up to." He's like, "This."
Yeah, I've seen that on Instagram where things like that happen to him. Like a little girl goes up to him or something, like knowing that he's like a household name, and like he's at a skate park and shit, the little girl skating and stuff, and he has his board and it says Hawk on it because he has his own company, Birdhouse, and she's like, "Oh, that's a cool board." She's like, "It says Tony," it's like Tony Hawk, like saying like Tony Hawk the skateboarder, and he's just like, "Yes." Yeah, he's like, he's not gonna say it's him, but it's like, come on, like what the fuck.
But they said that it might not be in the 2024, just the 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, the skateboarding, and it said it might not return, but I know there's like the greats of skateboarding who like who's competed in X Games and Street League and all that shit. It's like Nigel Houston is one of them. I don't know if you know him. Mm-hmm. Nigel Houston, yeah. I know he's going to be one of the contendants in the 2020 Olympics, which is crazy because he's like a machine, dude. Yeah. He's fucking crazy. I always watch all his shit on Instagram, and it's just like him warming up is like somebody trying to like at their best, you know, and he's just like warming up.
You think there's gonna be like an age limit or something? I want to know what the rules are. Do you think
or maybe it's broken up by?
You think Chris Cole's too old to compete?
How old is he? Like mid-30s?
Probably 35, maybe.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say he's too old because I know there's probably gonna be like a vert section because it says there's 8 different events. I'm sure there's a street like best trick, vert, shit like that. And the vert guys, there's 40-year-olds competing in that shit. Chris Cole can
All
totally
timers.
complete in street. He's fucking he kills it.
But going back to the Olympics real quick, they were thinking about doing other sports for the 2024, and one of them was ultimate frisbee, disc golf, and paintballing. So that sounds pretty cool too. Like, imagine having like a pseudo war in a paintball field. Like, you're gonna send your best fucking guys. Like, hey,
They better send
Navy
SEAL Team
SEAL.
6
Yeah.
in there and fucking take that gold.
Darts.
Yeah, I mean, I think they already have the darts in the winter one.
Are you serious?
Nah, I don't know.
Shit. Son of-
But it got me thinking, like, that would be cool, right? So what kind of sport or event would you want to be in the Olympics at some point in time?
there'd probably be like
Does it have to be a sport?
No, just an event, like just anything.
for like the rednecks chugging fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon or
I
something.
was gonna say that, dude. I was gonna
Beer
say
fest.
that.
Beer fest all
Chuggies,
over.
dude.
Yeah, beer fest basically.
Just beer games.
Chugging
Like
beers.
you have to do a game of was it beer pong, flip cup,
Yeah.
quarters, and then a chug contest at the end.
And
That's
yeah.
yeah, dude.
And you have everybody has their own specific event too. Like,
And then we were talking about earlier. I would say also like for the raza down here, like casting to catch bait,
Dude,
and like
that's-
weighted casting nets and shit, and like it's all different materials. Everybody's all sponsored, has their own little thing.
I remember a buddy of mine. Shout out to Mike. He watches all of our stuff.
Hey.
He was telling me a story one time. He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I'm known as Wonder Woman's son," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "We'd go out to the canals and stuff to go get bait." And my dad, they're like, oh, he was like the best fucking caster he'd ever seen. It was like magic. He was like, he could cast like the biggest fucking net and catch all this fucking like bait or whatever. And I'm like, really? And like, why do they call him Wonder Woman? Because he was like, yeah, man, he would get his fucking net and he would get on his tippy toes and he had his own little method where he'd like spin real fast on his tippy toes and he would cast it. He looked like Wonder Woman. I was like, that's so fucking cool. He's like, dude, but my dad's casting was like magic. I was like, oh fuck, that'd be a great Olympic sport.
What else do y'all think would be?
I mean, I've wanted esports to be in the Olympics for a while, and I think Asia has their own like Olympics, like they call it the Asia Games, and they added like 3 esport titles to it, and it went pretty well for them. So like, something like that, or like something dumb, like I don't know, like. Yeah, like beer pong, like that. I think that would be cool. Just,
Money counting,
yeah.
like in bills. You know what I mean? Something dumb like that. Like,
but something specific to me though, I think it would be like who can eat the most chicken wings.
I got you, bitch. I got you, dude.
Competitive eating. I think that would be good.
I would not be a part of that unless it's boneless. Because, dude, I love wings from Coast.
Grow up, dude.
Which last time we went and I got the boneless ones, I regretted it seeing y'all munch the fuck out on those fucking bone-in wings.
That's why I kept dropping
Dude,
mine.
you dropped like 3 of them motherfucking wings.
They were still alive, dog.
Yeah.
You're disqualified already, dude. I ain't never drop a wing. Never in my life.
I still eat it though.
Oh, yeah, he still did eat it. He took it off the carpet and shit, too. It had hair.
Fucking nasty.
That's the flavor.
I think I would like to do like movie quotes. The guy who has like the best references.
So trivia knowledge.
Yeah, not just trivia knowledge. I don't know. It'd be like a hybrid of trivia knowledge and like stand-up comedy. Because like there's some people who have those fucking one-liners or those references that are like fucking geniuses, and I would love to see that. I'd love to see what they could come up with. Because believe it or not, fucking millennials, fucking movie quotes was the cool thing before all these fucking memes came out. And I lost a lot of my street cred when the internet, like from fucking 2007 till now.
I thought hurricane season was over.
Another thing I would want to see
I fucking hate
is
you.
like creative ways of opening like maybe beers or whatever. Just creative ways of popping open beers without bottle openers. Because we were at Go Skateboarding Day and there's a kid his name is JP. I don't know if you know him. But he skates here in the valley. He's sponsored by all these sponsors. He's sponsored by Jarritos.
What?
Yeah. So
Very cool.
They showed up to the park at the end of the night with their back of like their SUV filled with Jarritos, and they were just passing them out and shit. And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And they were twist off. You had to pop them off, and everybody was like, "Oh, bottle opener." And I was just opening it with my board, like, like just with the pressure, and it everybody was like, "What the fuck?" Everybody's all like, "Dude, what?" Like magic or something. I'm like, "What do you?" There's just fucking pressure. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe like that. A creative way of opening fucking bottles.
Craftiness.
I've seen people bite their fucking bottle caps off just like.
That's fucking my brother-in-law does that.
And I've seen
I've
more
seen Robert
women
do that shit.
I've seen more women do that than men. I was like,
That's ridiculous. That shit. No, not with these little fucking fuckers right here.
Dude, me and my friend Roel, who also watches all of our shit, would fucking
Shut up.
get beer bottles and try to open them with our forearms. And so we'd be there and we'd fucking tearing into our skin. And they weren't twist top. We'd just be like, ugh. And then eventually he'd get it. I'm like, you fucking bitch. It's because he's so like sticky. He's like clammy at all times. Yeah. It was fucking cool.
That's me.
I don't know. I thought about the drinking thing. I thought about like the stand-up comedy. Like, I want to know who the best comic in the world is. Maybe I hate to be cheesy about it, but like maybe Pokemon, the trading card game, or Magic the Gathering.
Well, like a card game, that'd be good too.
There's like worlds.
What I liked is like it's his own whole thing, but like the fucking lumberjacking shit. Dudes who are like chopping wood and shit.
Yeah, that's a
insane,
summer.
dude.
Is
that a part of Olympics?
I don't know. I know they have like tournaments for it, or like they have like their own like events.
I've seen that. Like they have stations and shit. It's like you have to use a chainsaw and then you use like a hacksaw and then you use an axe. Like all these fucking stations. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what else. Like I'm trying to think of something like specific to our area that you only know people do here. That's why I thought of casting, but you know, something dumb like that. That would be like competitive.
I was watching Holy Moly. That's a new show on NBC or whatever, and it's like a mini golf but with obstacles, kind of like wipe.
Steph Curry's show.
Yeah, kind of like Wipeout. It's so bad. I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, that was gonna be better. I don't know. It just they kind of rushed through the whole thing and like they show you one round and then like another because all rounds are different. Like there's 2 competitors in each round. And then the winner from there moves on to the next round. But they come back from a break. And it's like 5 minutes of show, 10 minutes of commercials. And then like, oh, look, this is what happened during the break. And it's like 30 seconds of each other round. It's like, I wanted to watch all this. Like, what the fuck?
It should be shit like like MXC in the Olympics. You remember MXC? On Spike TV in like the early 2000s?
Do you remember Slam Ball?
No.
It's like basketball and trampolines.
Oh yes, that's right. Okay, yeah. Well, MXC, it was probably a Japanese show, but they brought it into America and they just dubbed it. And people it was like Wipeout. Originally, it was just all Asian. Like,
wasn't
people.
it the original like American Ninja Warrior type show?
But it was just more like comedy and
but
like
they had average Joes doing the
and they were dubbing like speaking for them, like saying ridiculous shit, dude.
I was watching something like that like a while back, just on YouTube, and I was just like, this takes me fucking back, dude.
MXC is fucking hilarious. Like they had their specific characters and commentators and stuff, and all the shit they would make. Like here's Jeff. He is coming up to like they're talking like that. Like he's coming up to the obstacle course. What do you do for a living, Jeff? I write papers, and that's it. Like something stupid like that, dude. But keep that format.
I remember one where I was like, here comes like wherever Kevin. He works in the Strong Town district as a bodybuilder, and it's some guy like super flabby, just like
yeah. Dude, I love that shit. Yeah, that's fucking dope. Or they would have like this captain guy who would be in front of the entire like people who were competing, and he's like, "What do you do when something like this goes wrong?" And they're like. They say the right thing, and he's like, "That is incorrect. You guys are like." He's just like always there, talking shit to them. Like, dude, that was my favorite show. Me and my brother would watch that shit. My mom would get mad when we would watch it.
And the 2 hosts were like in kimonos, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just like sitting.
Kenny and Kenny Blankenship, and then somebody else. I forgot.
I think I've seen. Yeah,
dude.
I've seen them do comedy, like physical comedy, like after that, and I was like, they look so familiar, and I guess it's from that's them.
I mean, have you also seen like these Japanese game shows, like? The things of them like like when they're waiting for like a wall that's moving towards them and it's shaped a certain way and they have to get through the holes, so they have to shape to the shape of the holes. Like shit like that, dude. That would kill if it was in the Olympics.
I've seen also one where they're in a room and like one object in the room is chocolate, and you have to like go around the room, and it's chocolate, but it's like disguised as an object, and it's like it could be the doorknob or it could be the lamp over
Well,
there.
you have to eat it. Or
You
something?
have to bite into it. Like if you bite into it and it's chocolate, you win. But I don't know what type of things you have to, because I've only seen like gifs of it. Like some guy that's just like looking at the doorknob and like sniffing it, and he just goes and bites it.
Oh shit!
And he's like,
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's
Stuff like that would be fucking awesome.
You ever see that video of like those two girls who there's like a hissing cockroach in the middle? It's like dead or whatever, and they're like they're on each side of a fucking like PVC pipe, a clear PVC pipe, and they have to blow. It's like kind of like a reverse tug of war.
Yeah.
Where you have to like as
Send
soon
it
as
to the
somebody
other
takes
side.
a breath, you have to like shoot it. In the,
Oof,
that is so fucking cool.
that's scary. I wouldn't do, like that fear factor, all that type of shit like that. I wouldn't do that stuff. Fuck no. I'd rather do weird shit like that, like the chocolate thing, or just like more physical stuff like Wipeout and all that stuff. I'd do stuff like that.
They need to bring back. I know they did for a stint, but they need to bring back Double Dare from Nickelodeon. It was like a fucking obstacle course. Like it was like, oh, you and your sister, you and your best friend, blah blah blah, and you have to go through this thing, and it's like, oh, go pick the nose, and like you had to lay on the bottom, and like there's like ooze coming out of it. And you had to find a flag in there. And I'm like, just use your fucking nails, like scratch around. And they're like, I can't find it. It'd be like on the floor, like
They
in
were
the goop.
kids, man.
Fucking idiots. No, man, like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Did you all watch that shit? Shout out to my 90s kids. Like, that shit was the easiest. It looked like the easiest shit. But I know I could fucking, all the fucking obstacle courses I know I can do.
That's probably what all those
Even
people that
now
were
with this
there
fucking
thought.
dad bod.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's because they have fucking Skylar and Bryson out there fucking doing this shit. No, they need a fucking hardcore ass Mexican. Not that I'm hardcore, but I'm just saying, like,
You got one part of it down.
yeah, I'm just fucking Mexican.
Oh man, that's all I got for that Olympics thing. That was good suggestions. I like that.
For some reason, it's just the Mexican in me wants to just more drinking shit, because that's all like that's ever been around me, and like it's always been like a competitive thing. Who can hold it down the most? You know,
They should do a wall climbing thing,
drunk.
and then all the fucking Mexicans would win it. Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up.
No, they better win it, because if anybody
No, they
else-
better.
they ain't trying hard enough.
Yeah, there's a story that went viral like yesterday or 2 days ago of bodies was like found in the river, and it's like, so I just want to like say this real quick. I'm not gonna get into political stuff, but like if you're excused to like being okay with kids being in cages and like these holding facilities and not having soap or beds or anything, and if your response is like, well, they shouldn't have come here, then fuck you. Like that's not a correct reason or like response.
Valid
response. to that. And that's all I gotta say.
It's fucked up, and I'm on your side, but you have to look at it from a business perspective. You're having thousands and thousands of people coming over here, and I'm for it, dude. I'm all about humanity and all that, and people wanting to better themselves and stuff like that. I was asked, because I had a conversation with somebody close to me about like this whole situation. Like, isn't it fucked up that the U.S. isn't doing anything to help them out? And I'm like, you got to think, like, these people are coming over here who have not been vaccinated, who have not been, who are malnourished, and it's costing the U.S. a lot of money on the business side. Like, everybody coming in over here, like, now you have to feed them. You have to make sure that they're healthy, because if one dies on you, you're gonna go through a shitstorm of PR. Like, and it's just fucking sucks. Like, we're losing human lives over this shit.
Yeah, but sorry. I get what you're saying, but it's also the thing of like they're creating a backstop to, like, it wasn't like people, they come in and they go into the U.S. and like disappear forever. Like, they process them, take the information down. They're like, okay, we're gonna go with my aunt or whatever, or my brother or my sister or wherever the fuck, like in the U.S., and like they're gonna come back for the court date later. But now it's just like you're stuck there. Like, they could have just gone through the system and like gone wherever they needed to go in the U.S. And like, yes, it's not a perfect system either, because like you don't know who you're letting through. Like, that's a risk you have to take. I'd rather have that than them being stuck in these places where they're just treated like shit. Like it's not like you never heard of something like this happening before. And like people want to say like, well, Obama was the one that started keeping kids in like camps or whatever. It's like, yeah, because it needed to be processed, and then they would like go. It's not just like we don't know when we're gonna let you go. And people come in and like, especially kids, they come in with like bracelets with the phone number of somebody that can pick them up and like take care of them. And the border patrol rangers, they don't give a fuck. They don't like a lawyer had to go and see the little girl, like they had her phone number, like her parents' phone number on her bracelet or whoever's phone number, and they called and they're like, nobody's ever got in touch with us. And it's like, I get there's like a whole bunch of them and you can't get to all of them at the same time, but they've been there for literal fucking weeks.
Why are we hearing this now?
Because it's a lot of people that are working in this, well, a lawyer that is in charge of making sure that the government is held to certain standards, like of beds and whatever. She went and she saw the conditions they were in, and it's like, this is not the way it's ever been. Like, she's like, I've worked in this field for 22 years and I've never seen it this bad.
It's cutbacks.
Yeah,
it's cutbacks, and that's where I'm saying like the business side of it, because you have to provide them with medication now. You have to provide them with soap and stuff to keep them clean. Like you have to. I can't even think of like necessities. They need these certain necessities to live a decent life. They just traveled 700 miles from whatever the fuck country, Honduras or whatever, to the border, and then they get caught there, and then it's your fucking responsibility or the U.S.'s responsibility to take care of them. I understand. Like, dude, I'm all for like, yes, spend a little bit more money and make sure that these people are taken care of. But at that point, you're just fucking. It's a hospital now. It's part hospital, part prison, and honestly, like, what? There's no real way to without costing U.S. taxpayers, and that's the problem.
I mean, I'd rather spend money on that than a fucking drone or like another fucking tank that we don't fucking need.
Exactly, and I think the military, but that's a different conversation. The military budget's way too fucking high.
Yeah, of course, but it always comes back to like, where are we gonna get the money from? It's like, we get money for everything else. Why not fucking make money for this? Like, you want to build a fucking wall? You want to spend money on something that's gonna be useless, but you don't want to spend money on like helping people survive or like, I don't know. Like, I'd rather spend something on that than a fucking piece of concrete that nobody's gonna fucking use. And I get what you're saying. Like, yes, it's not. It shouldn't be on us to, like, have like whatever. But what they're doing is they're creating this like the stopgap of like just clogging the system for no reason, and that's what makes the situation even worse than it has to be.
Oh, also, what is Mexico doing? Like,
that's the thing that Trump's saying. He's like, you all aren't doing shit about it.
Because if they're fleeing from over there, it goes to show, like, what are they fleeing from? Yeah. Is it a corrupt government? Is it a corrupt society?
It's the fucking dude. They're fucking war zones, like Honduras and those Central America countries.
So like the Mexican, I guess there should be. It's like, I understand your frustration, and I'm all for that too. Of like helping anybody in need, especially somebody who's fleeing away from something that's worse to them. And it's difficult. It's a difficult situation to make anything happen. I mean,
these people are just leaving their countries to get over here. And it's not just this side of the hemisphere. You're talking about people from China, people from like Taiwan and Iraq and Iran. Like, they're coming over here through Mexico for a better life, and it fucking sucks because they get caught right at the border. But now,
they don't get caught. They turn themselves in because they're asking for asylum. And it's not like they're just trying to sneak past and they're like, oh, we caught you, come here. They're asking for them like, hey, help us. And what they're doing is they're getting corralled into these fucking like places. And like, yes, some of them do try to sneak past, and like that happens. Like, it's always happened. But these people are asking for help. They're not just trying to make their way like illegally, like everybody fucking says. Like, and it's like, you have to do it the legal way. It's like they are trying to do it the legal way. What the fuck are you talking about?
I think that's the thing. I think it's the mindset of like the people in America who see it as like it's an illegal thing. Like, this is our fucking country. Like, what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there is a frustration, especially with us who live here in this border area, who can, I guess, can see it. And I have family who come from Mexico and shit, and like, I don't know. It's gonna be. I don't see the. I understand the frustration, but there is a process that has to be taken, and that is the process. But there should be something done to make it better. I understand that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, it could always be better. And like, I'm not saying like just give them a free pass or anything, but when you're making their experience way worse than it has to be, that's when it's like you're just doing it to be a dick. You're not doing it just because like, oh, we can't afford it or whatever the fuck.
That goes to show like how authority is in America.
Yeah.
Police, security, like and all these things. Border patrol.
There's a fucking story where some like the kids had a lice outbreak and they gave them 2 like lice combs to like get the lice out, and one of them, they're kids, so one of them lost a comb. What do? They fucking took away all their beds and their blankets, and they had them sleeping on the concrete with like tin foil like blankets. And I was like, that's not an appropriate response. Like, what if? And then there's kids taking care of other kids because they don't want to do shit. And like, yes, I guess I get they might not have the staff and like that. I can sympathize with that. Like, we've been short staffed before, and like it's not the same thing though. But like, I get it. But when you're not trying enough, or when you're like, where your response is to like punish them for like being kids and like losing stuff, then that's a different story. And people say like, well, they're just taking our jobs or whatever. Like, according to you guys, our economy is fucking great. So can we not afford like to get people jobs? Like, our economy is fucking great. So what are you worried about? Like, if you want to spin one narrative that our country's being better than before, why not take people in when you say we can?
I mean, I know you feel really like strong about it, and I feel I'm the same way, man. It's fucked up, and I'm all about making sure that these kids are taken care of. And it's not just the kids, it's everyone that's coming over here. But when things are put into perspective, it's like I said earlier, like with the business and stuff like that, like the business side, you're only given an allotment of a certain allotment of money, which, yes, I believe it should be increased. But how else do you fix it? Like, how do you resolve this? What's Fernie's method of getting everything back on track?
I mean, I have to start with saying like you're never gonna get things back on track, because one way it's not gonna fix like everything completely 100%. But in this scenario, when like you can have them waiting like in like wherever the detention centers or whatever you want, but don't be a fucking dick about it. Like, provide them with soap, whatever. Like, the government's paying these detention centers like $750 a day to keep one person like locked up. Like, what else are they paying? Staff? Cool. They're paying rent? Cool. I'm pretty sure that money left over can buy a $1 bar of soap. If you're buying in bulk, that's less money. So I don't know, just not give the excuse that you don't have money to like give them necessities. And I think just why not hire more people to work cases? Like, it shouldn't be hard to find like social workers that are willing to do this, or
the right people at least.
Yeah,
maybe, because it's who knows how much it trickles down into just individuals who are just corrupt.
And like a lot of people, like I said, like a lot of people before, what they would do is ask for asylum, they would process their cases, and then they would wait a year or two, like in the U.S., like where they could with their family members, or they would make a life somewhere. Like, if these people can't find a job or anything in the U.S., like a lot of them go back. It's not like they just stay homeless and they live off the government, because they have no social security number to like get assistance from. And that's the whole myth of like, oh, our illegals are just taking our social security and like our food stamps or whatever. It's like, how can they when they don't have no legal recourse to? Like, they can't show a number to get.
They get married.
I mean, yeah, they get married, but they still, it's part of the, they get married, and the spouse is the one that gets the benefits. It's not like a 2-person thing.
But they ask you on when you're getting benefits, like how many people are in your household. That's a thing. That's an extra head in the household. Okay, but that still shouldn't like take away from people that don't do that.
and or like just because one out of 10 people do it doesn't mean like it's a big problem. Like I get what you're saying. Like I see it down here a lot too. But a lot of people just like they make their life or they don't, and they just get asylum and they have the legal way. Like this is what I'm saying. Like people coming here asking for asylum the legal way, and you're still treating them like shit. Then that's not the way to do it.
The turnaround needs to be different. If it's just people who are coming over here for asylum, that's different. But especially if they're coming over here for asylum, like I thought, my thought was, you got $15 billion that you want for a fucking wall. Spend half of it or a third of it, and hire more border patrol.
And Trump is doing the whole like the Democrats don't want to give us money to do this, and it's like yes, because they don't trust you to give you the money you need, and do the things that they need to be done with it. Like they're asking for money, but they can turn around and easily be like, all right, we're gonna fund more ICE agents to detain more people, instead of using that money to make conditions better. Like just in general. Like there's no end all solution. Like we can't just we can't just like open the borders and be like, all right, anybody that wants to come in, because like it's not gonna work. That's never gonna work. But you can't also just give up and be like, well, that's never gonna work, so let's not even try it, or try something different, or like give citizenship to dreamers. Because I could have been a dreamer. Like if I was born a year too late or a year too early, or my parents didn't care about like doing the paperwork, or they just like forgot about it or whatever. Like, you know, like they could have easily made their life in Mexico or not gone back to the United States. They could have easily just been like, we'll get to it eventually. And then like 10 years later, it's like, oh, well, you're not a legal resident or a citizen or anything. I don't know.
I guess also one of these arguments that people have is like, what about the people who are already here? I guess citizens who, I guess, homeless veterans and just homeless people and people who aren't.
I mean, that's a different. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
You know, that's one of the arguments is what I'm seeing, that like, why are we worried about these people from another country? What about our people?
Well, we're not.
I feel the same way.
But we're not asking like people to forget about these people either. Like they also need help, so fucking help them also.
But you gotta understand that it's a prison. Like, okay, so prisons are expensive to house people, and you have homeless people who are doing crimes, so they can go into prison to eat. But
it's also expensive because those companies are per profit prisons. It's not like I mean, you could just easily subsidize it if you needed to, but no, they have to make a profit. Like
it is a business in all aspects, so you have to treat it like a business. So, like I was saying, prisons are very expensive. It costs, like you said, $750 a day to house these people or whatever, to keep these people fed, 3 meals a day, entertainment, blah blah blah, keep the air conditioning on, right? Which is fucking stupid. And then you have these containment places that are like prisons, but also a hospital. So now you need to add that part of the expense into that, and to keep these people. And I understand the conditions suck right now, but in order to do that, it's going to cost even more money. And then you have the whole part where, what about our veterans and all the homeless people that are in the United States? And I'm a strong believer in America first. Like that's where I come in. Like I've always considered myself like center left. Like I'm really conservative on some things and really liberal on other things. So it's like, but always America first.
Of course, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be an either or situation. Like just because the system is set up like this doesn't mean it always has to be. Like who says that? How's it, like all this? Like I'm saying, like all this, like $750. Like it doesn't have to be that expensive, and it's not just like paying rent and all that stuff. It's also like overhead and people at the top getting money, and that's how they make their money. Like it's a lot of shit that they're just putting on us to figure out, when they're just fucking scheming off the top and be like, well, that's the way it is. Sorry, can't change it, and their pockets are getting filled. Mm-hmm. Like yes, of course, I want our veterans to have as much care as they need, and like mental health, physical health, whatever. Like they sacrificed their body and they did all that, but also you can't turn around and say like, well, we've had people that fought for our country also, and they're illegal because they're arresting right now or whatever, and then be like, all right, let's kick them out. Like it can't just be like either or. It can be both, and it should be both. It should be like a lot of things.
You need to look at the national budget.
The national budget is inflated already, and fucking Trump can find tax cuts for their fucking billionaire friends, but he can't find money to take care of our veterans. Like, where's that argument?
It's the
like,
budget in general.
He was cutting funding for the VA and for like even like research for AIDS and HIV and cancer research and all this other shit, but he can fucking find tax cuts for everybody else.
That the solution would be creating the mindset of it can be both, because I wouldn't say that I'm just America first. I'm humanity first. Like it has to, just because there's an imaginary line between two different pieces of dirt doesn't make us any different. Like I do believe that it can be both. You know, I don't feel like it's just.
Yeah,
I guess speaking of military, I mean it's true. A lot of immigrants get into the United States military and they risk their lives
and like yes, like it shouldn't just be all on us. Like Mexico could do more, Honduras could do more, other countries could do more, and it has to be a global thing, because even besides all this, besides just people fleeing violence or whatever. What happens? I believe in global warming. What happens when oceans level rise and like a lot of cities are destroyed, or there's droughts in the middle of like the Middle East or South America or Africa or wherever, like the United States? Like if a drought happens in the like the Rust Belt or whatever the fuck, where are they gonna move? They're gonna move to other cities, and they're gonna be migrants within their own country. And then you're gonna have the same discussion, like, well, it should only be people from California, or it should only be people from Texas here. Like, shit's gonna go down, and one way or another, like, we have to help each other out, and it has to be a global thing.
It does.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be either or, our veterans or our migrants or whatever. Like it can be both, and it should be both. And when you say like, oh, well, it's because it's not in our budget or whatever the fuck, like, who the fuck cares? Like, you're already spending money on giving tax cuts to everybody else. Or spending money on $150 million on a drone. Do we really need another one? Like, I get it. Like, it advances our technology and all that stuff. But, I mean, we have to figure out, like, what's important and what isn't.
I would need to write this down. But, like, okay, I'm giving you $10. Right? $10 is equivalent to $10 billion each. All right? You have your military. You have financial assistance, which is like food stamps, all that stuff. You have the veterans. You have border safety. You have homeland security. You have what else? These concentration camps. What other things are on this? Okay, you have the military. Did I say military already?
Yeah.
Where would you spend your money, and how is it going to be fair? You need to be fair, because you said that it needs to be even across the board, but it's impossible.
I didn't say it has to be
not even
across
but
the board.
It needs to be fair.
It doesn't have to be fair either. I'm just saying, like, it could be either. It can't be either or it shouldn't be either or.
Or place things at a more of an importance.
Yeah.
I mean, military. How much more technologies do we need for violence?
And how much money do we spend? Like, I think we spent like, what is it, like?
It gets
10 times more than the nearest 5 countries combined or something like that.
I think it's like 40% of our overall.
Like, we're just tooting our horn.
And it's like, oh, well, we need to, because our industry works on that, our economy works on that. And it's like, okay, so why? Like, why does it? Because people on the top are taking the money. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, eat the rich or whatever. But when you, like, also things like when you're worried about like 500 coal mining jobs, if you switch over to something else like green energy, you can make thousands more jobs. Then you're already fighting a losing battle there. Like, if you don't want to move on to the next thing that can make more jobs and make more people more money, if that's what you're worried about, just because you want to stick with like, oh, I want to stick with these jobs, then that's the thing. What I'm saying is, we don't have to stick with having this whole inflated military budget the whole time. Like, we can't just be like, oh, that's the way it is, so that's the way it has to be. And like, yeah, maybe later on we change our mind and we get tired of fucking immigrants and like kick them all out. Like, that can happen too. But I'm saying, like, there has to be a change, because the way that we're going is not going to work. And I think it's also like a media thing where it's like, well, yeah, people are coming over here and they're dying and like it's sad, and it is sad. But then if you come back with like, well, but they deserved it because they fucking came here, or what about our veterans first, America first? Like that's not a good response. That's all I'm saying. And like, yes, I get the point you're trying to make. It's like, well, we can't have everybody here, and like we should blah blah blah. But why not?
Because it's not in the budget.
Who? Okay.
But you need to think about it like that, Fernie. The whole fucking time you're talking, you're like, this could be better, this could be better. But you need to think when you actually come down to the pennies and the nickels like of it. It's like that's
so
where reality.
You're telling me that you'd rather like be okay with not spending getting taxed $5 more in your fucking taxes, or even more, so that one little fucking kid can die. You're okay with that?
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
That's the whole point you're making. Saying. That's the whole point you're making, though. It doesn't. You're saying that we can't afford it, so then just fucking let it be.
Well, then become a congressman or become a senator and
run for president.
Raise taxes and dude, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean that's also gonna help our veterans, isn't it? I mean, not you, but like people say like, oh, well, what about our veterans, or what about this and whatever. But as soon as you touch like one little tax, like, oh, well, what are you doing? Like I get what you're saying. Like you have to make a budget for it, and you have to like do all this. I get what you're saying. I get that point, but also like I said, I'm saying like if you want all this, if you want more care for veterans and America first, you want more infrastructure, whatever. People have to be okay with getting their taxes risen.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Like I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it can't just be the way it is. It could also change, and like it could also be different. Like one moment to the next, we could also be like, fuck our military or fuck our green plan. Like let's go back to coal mining and fracking and like fuck the environment also. Like that could also happen.
To me, in my eyes, it's just realigning importance of areas of that budget. Realigning all the importance. Like I think violence is never going to be a. I get we have to defend ourselves in whatever may come up in the future against countries and shit, but violence is never the answer.
Yeah.
But it's always the fucking statement.
Especially with like Iran, we're like this close to getting in a war with Iran, but our president was just like, you know what? I didn't feel like it. It's like that's the way you want to make your fucking policy decisions. All right.
But it's not his call right now. Dude, that other guy McConnell was like in charge.
McConnell or Bolton or our president's not
both
in charge. Our president is not in charge. That's cool.
Both, and I know. I saw it on CNN too. Like I saw that part, and I saw it on MSNBC where they're saying like Trump's told them like back down, but these two motherfuckers are the negotiators. That's the head of his military, and the other is the fucking I don't know diplomat or whatever. I mean, dude, I'm on your side. I know you're super passionate about it. And the thing is, like, I can't make a difference. Like, if I could, I would.
No, yeah, and I get what you're saying. Like, of course, you can't just give out things for free. Like, I get it. Like, no meals free or whatever the fuck that saying is. I get it. Like, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we can't just accept it. Like,
it starts with the voice, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want you to feel like I'm not like hearing where you're coming from, because I get it too. Like, like if people are like, hey, give me $5 because I'm hungry, I'm like, okay, fucking get yourself a job. Like if somebody coming up to me in the street, like, so I get it. Like it takes time and it takes a lot more movement and voices and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, like, things can change and they should change. It might take a while and it might take a lot of work, and it's not
a lot of money.
And a lot of money, and it's not impossible, but it should also be
not impossible.
Not impossible. Yeah,
I agree. I'm glad we came to terms with that.
Yeah,
I love you guys. Let's go drink.
All right.
That is it for the Laugh and Death podcast. Thank you so much for sticking around. This one was a doozy. We took a weird turn. Or right turn.
We went into the flooding.
Speaking of flooding, it looks like it's fucking cloudy outside.
Right. I think it might rain today.
I just asked my Alexa if it was going to rain today. She said it was 20% chance. Better.
That's what they said that fucking day, that morning. 20%. It fucking flooded.
Christ. Again, guys, thank you for following us. Follow us over at youtube.com/laughingdeath, at our Instagram at laughingdeath podcast. Hopefully next week, or not next week, but the week after, we'll have a fourth person on the podcast. Maybe a familiar face.
A little special.
Yeah, something special for you all. But thank you so much. Again, I'm Dave.
I'm Alex.
I'm Fern.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
That was fun. Have you tried whistling and humming at the same time? Weird, right?
This emergency broadcast service is brought to you by
Alex's Spank Bang.
No weekly nut this week.
Wow, one and done.
Nothing interesting this week. Nothing out of the ordinary.